Hello, One Wheel Nation. Welcome to the podcast. I am here as your host, Jack, with Kyle, our CEO, today to talk about Future Motion coming out with the new Antic bike. Pretty exciting stuff, as well as what it means for One Wheel world. So, hope you enjoy. Kyle, how are you feeling?
Good, man. Big week around here.
Super big week. Yeah, it's been busy. Obviously launched the Antic bike, the Antic brand. For some of you that weren't aware, we've always been Future Motion. One Wheel is the product that we started doing a long time ago.
Spent a lot of time explaining to people that the company is called Future Motion and that One Wheel is a brand within that.
I would say this, like when I started back in 2014, like, I don't know, I knew even then that you wanted to make all kinds of stuff. Like, that was just apparent. That was known.
Totally.
Even in our workshop back then, there was like all kinds of different stuff.
Prototypes and contraptions of various kinds.
Prototypes and contraptions of various kinds. And I think we weren't sure that One Wheel would like become so all encompassing from the start. Like, that's my interpretation. Is that accurate in your mind's eye?
That's a good question. I mean, I think that was the best case scenario, that it would like take off and, would keep us busy, right? And I think iterating on that form factor and really going from, those super early ones, making the key upgrades to the Plus and the XR, and then, blowing it up with Pint, right? Which really expanded it a lot. And then realistically, kind of like right before COVID was a moment when we were like, okay, we should look at like what comes next. And then of course, COVID like scrambled the whole everything, right? And we were crazy busy just trying to keep up with what was going on then, dealing with surviving COVID, dealing with supply chain, and all that stuff. So we kind of, a lot of our plans kind of got bulldozed, to post-COVID in terms of like next gen products and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it always been dreaming about various types of vehicles. And, I started an e-bike company before too, and have built just all kinds of crazy things, as have a lot of other people around here. Right.
Yeah.
We've got tons of people who ride mountain bikes, who ride dirt bikes, who ride, scooters, Vespa type things around town. People, rolling in on their Coleman mini bikes, like all that stuff.
The most, we should probably put an image up in here for the video audience, but the most remarkable is, have you seen what Tyler has in the parking lot?
The thing is ridiculous. I just sort of smirk every time I see it. Well, he's got a couple things, but I know what you're talking about.
What is it called? The Morpheus. that thing. Great name, epic name. That thing might be the coalest. But yes,
so swaggy. But he's also got like a 125 Honda or something, right?
Yeah,
that's like cool.
Right.
I always like the small motorcycles, right? Like,
yeah,
we're talking a lot about 70s mini bikes, but even before that, it was like the 60s small motorcycle scene. Those things are sick, and I think it's kind of like what happens with products, right? Is as they evolve, they become more complicated, more advanced, more high performance. And so, if you look at a lot of the stuff that's out there with, say, electric motorcycles right now, like those things are gnarly, right? The performance is insane. And, people are just like trying to outcompete each other on how many kilowatts and the 0 to 60 times and like all that stuff, which is great for the people that care about that. But sometimes you got to just like go back to the beginning and be kind of like, well, what's like the kind of minimal version of what an electric two-wheeler can be, right?
Totally.
And so that's really what we did with Antic.
It is. It's like clean. It's simple. It's as simple as it could be.
I got a note from a buddy of mine that's like, you should have made it fancier. It's like, no, that's the point. It's simple. And it's like, you understand what it is just by looking at it.
Yeah, totally. Did you think that you'd make other things sooner than this? I mean, we're 12 years in.
Yeah. I mean, so before I started this company, I was a design consultant, and our like 10 weeks, we could do a whole new business a new product, whatever, in basically 10 weeks, right? And so
this explains a lot.
5 times a year, you know, it's like 0 to like something epic, right? And I was there for, you know, 7 or 8 years. So like did, you know, 60-ish products, right? And it's like, of course, we're going to do everything all at once, you know, but of course, when you're a design consultancy, you're only doing one part of the what needs to be done. There's a lot of other aspects of launching something that, you know, we weren't on the hook for. So, you know, I think here it's been, you know, we've tried to stay like, disciplined, frankly, just like focus on Onewheel, focus on like realizing what Onewheel can be. Which I think we've made a lot of strides. I mean, we're talking about the XL. I mean, that thing is totally fantastic compared to what we started with. And, you know, we have now like a really full lineup of Onewheel products. And, you know, even the XR Classic, right? Like that thing is sweet.
The lineup is like, I mean, I think that's part of this timing too, right? Is like we spent all last year and the year before, like pouring everything into upgrading the lineup,
upgrading the whole lineup.
I feel so good about every board. Like if someone, you know, is like, oh, like I'm new, which it's like, what do you want to do? Do you want to ride trails? We have an insane board if you want to ride trails. Do you want? I think
it's fair to say we're like waiting for riders to kind of catch up with the progression. You know, that we put the hardware out there for them to like, you know, rally on, so to speak.
I just saw Austin launch like a 15-foot gap. I think you're right. I think we're still kind of waiting. I saw Austin launch a 15-foot gap.
It's great. So, I mean, it's a little unfair, right? Because Austin gets to like ride the pre-release, you know, XL, and he's got that thing dialed. Other people could hit that if they put their minds to it, right? Like there's riders out there that can, and you know, I think going into this season with like Black Friday and stuff like that, you know, I think a lot of riders are gonna, you know, want to check out the new stuff like the XL, the XRC. If they've, you know, I always get notes like, oh, I'm riding my original XR. It's got 2,000 miles. Like, should I get the XR Classic? It's like, probably. You know,
it's way better.
It's way better. You know, still fits into that niche. And then like the Pint S, you know, can't really go wrong.
I remember like back in the early days when I was like, okay, we're going to launch the Onewheel. And you launch the Onewheel, and you think like, okay, we did that.
Right.
We very quickly realized that like people are going to ride these in a million ways. Right. And that was the moment we're like, oh, we need to make ones that are like really good for riding off road. And it's a very different person than the person that wants to like just take this to work or go to the corner store or something. Right. And so like what we had a design for just like ballooned and expanded in such a way.
Kept us busy.
But yeah, like I feel like we're at the point where there is legitimately like a awesome option. Even if you like, hey, I want something really affordable for my nephew. You know, there's a one that's like $750. Like, it's pretty crazy. Okay, well, tell me a little bit about this bike. How, like, you know, how long has this been in the works? What are you most excited about it?
Totally.
All that stuff.
Yeah, well, there's a lot. I mean, we'll talk history, I'm sure, but like, it's just exciting to get it out there, right? I mean, to remix the technology we have. So it is literally like a GT controller, GT battery, GT motor in there. And then, you know, obviously we had to do the frame and the seat and, you know, bars and front fork and brakes and stuff we haven't had to deal with before. Makes you appreciate the simplicity of a Onewheel. You're like, there's all this stuff.
A lot of pieces. I heard we even designed the pegs.
We even designed the pegs. So I mean, designed the vast majority of those things from scratch, and some others, you know, we found suppliers who could do what we wanted. But yeah, it's, you know, remixing that into a form factor that, you know, everybody understands two-wheelers, right? One wheel, I mean, our riders know. People do not understand one wheel. Like, you're riding it around, people are like, what is that? Oh, it must be so hard. How does that work? I could never do it, you know, whatever. Did you make that? Unfortunately, that's getting asked a little bit less now. But, but you know, two-wheelers are kind of like, they're so established, right? And so whatever, you know, whatever you bring into that, it's really like, what's your perspective? And obviously, we're coming at it from the one-wheel perspective. We're using those same things. And we're also inspired by, antics and mayhem, right? That's why I call it the Antic. Yeah. And just having fun, right? I think there's a lot of, and rightly so. I mean, there's a lot of the bike market that's focused on utility and practicality, but we're like, whatever, we're just going to go no holds barred on fun. And I think people resonate with that.
Totally. And the thing is also like fairly practical too, but it's not what we're leaning into. Huge area in the center of the frame. Lots of comments on YouTube about, storage space there.
Figure some kind of storage out there.
Stay tuned. Fits an Apple crate pretty decently well, but
yeah, and I mean we, obviously we talked about it a little bit, and there's pictures on our website, but like we built mini bike prototypes. Like must have been 7 or 8 years ago, right? Mm-hmm. And that was just kind of for the lulz, right? And ripping them around, and like they were fun, but it was a little bit hard to see how that could be a good product because they were just so uncomfortable with the ergos we had. I mean, they were really small, right?
Yeah.
And it
the wooden seat didn't help.
Yeah, the wooden seat didn't help. And it was a little unclear that like you could actually build something that is comfortable to ride, but still mini, know? And so it was really like, last year, 2024, that kind of grabbed those things out of the shed. Some of them were in like our electric panel room in the workshop, just gathering dust, and said, hey, is there a way to actually, turn this into something real? I mean, those ones had XR motors and controllers and stuff like that, and lots of wires everywhere. And
the first gen ones.
The first gen, mini bike prototype things we had. So we kind of took the perspective of like what could be more of a production, something that is actually compelling. And, I'm like, my design process personally is very iterative, right? It's like build something, test it, try it. Seat needs to be higher. Seat needs to be lower. Like, bars need to be like this, not like that. Steering geometry needs to be like that. Figuring out how to get the one wheel tires to work as a front wheel, sure. was tricky. We spent a bunch of time on that. Because it is actually the same tire front and back. It's the GT treaded, and on the base, and then it's the performance treaded,
right.
On long range plus. So getting that all figured out, it's like they're not designed to be biked. You can't just off the shelf go get some hub that's going to work for that. So we had to develop hubs and then figure out the braking system and, and then of course figure out how to adapt the balancing algorithms that we use in Onewheel to, work on the bike. But also just make it a good bike, right? Wheelies are cool and fun, but if you never do that and you just rip around on an Antic and use it to go to the beach,
right.
Still a great product, right?
Totally.
And that's something I really wanted it to be, because you want to cover a range of people, right? I mean, right. You look at the Groms in the video, they got to ride wheelies day and night, they're addicted.
See, we knew that when we did all the shooting for it, right? So we adapted a code word, which is Pandora's box. Pandora's box was when we told them about the wheelie functionality. Yeah. So we would meet up with them. We wouldn't tell them about that feature at all because we knew once you tell them about the feature, they're not going to stop doing that. And we needed to get some normal riding. But they would fall in love with the bike just on the bike itself before knowing about anything to do with the wheelies.
Yep.
And then after that, and then once you see them starting to rip their own wheelies organically, then you're like, totally. Okay, Tyler, is it time to open up Pandora's box here? All right, it's time we tell them. Yeah, the bike is fun. Just the experience of pulling that throttle and feeling that juice, and it also just looks fun and different. A bike with little one wheel tires is so unique. We would be. Basically, everywhere we've been, people would come up to us. We had a hotel concierge walk across the street while he's working and be like, "What is this? Where do I get this?" And it reminds me so much of the early one wheel days where people are like, "You're on some." It's just so different.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean the '70s aesthetic, right? People have these associations, like whether they were alive in the 70s or they remember seeing pictures of like their dad or their grandpa or whatever ripping around on old mini bikes, right? And so, you know, that's always obviously the reference. So there is some, you know, point of comparison, but then, you know, obviously it's also like modern or futuristic at the same time.
Yeah, Joey, our social media manager, has a photo of his dad as like a Boy Scout on one that we put into like all kinds of our marketing media as well. It's pretty.
See if you can find it. See if you can look at our website. It's on there somewhere.
Totally. So let's see what else needs to be covered there. The bike is so much fun. It's simple design, retro design. What you kind of mentioned like some of the challenges. What was the biggest challenge you think in the development process?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, you know, obviously, like in product design, there's a huge landscape of possible choices, right? And figuring out like where do you innovate, where do you go off the shelf, like, you know, and then being constrained by like using the, you know, the literal one wheel components. I mean, I think that's the biggest challenge, right? Because that's the part that's new, basically, right? Yeah. And so we had to figure all that stuff out. And you know, but it's pretty compelling because you know, those are components that obviously we have, you know, iterated on and perfected over the years, right? And you know, they work awesome, right? Yeah. Like the power on the thing is like smooth and, you know, nice and fun. And you know, if you've ripped around on other kind of you know, small electric two-wheelers, like they're not necessarily dialed in. And being, you know, a hub motor too, just that it's totally silent, you know, there's no chain, because it's always kind of a bummer to me, you know, that a lot of the small electric two-wheelers, like they have at least one chain. Some of them have like two chains or a chain and a belt and like a jack shaft and stuff. So what could be totally quiet is like making this ripping, you know, dirt bike chain noise, you know, as they're cruising around. But Antic doesn't have that, right? It's just like totally smooth and magical. And it does have that kind of feeling of flying type thing that, totally. You know, that One Wheel has. So I think, you know, integrating that stuff is probably the biggest challenge. You know, and then dialing it in, right? It's always a major process of dialing things in. And you know, again, back to the iterative thing, right? Like we've been riding lots of generations of prototypes of this thing, changing a little bit, you know, changing the head tube angle, changing the forks, like riding something that we don't like, and then, you know, figuring out how to make it better. So it's, I'm really happy with where we've gotten it.
Yeah. I think we're coming out on the Antic channel soon with a video that kind of goes into the design process. And one of the things that Alec, one of the engineers here, was saying was like, you know, he's been building frames for over a year. Yeah. You know, and each time it's like, okay, we like this, but like you mentioned seat height up. Okay, that means he has to like re-weld a frame or like chop a frame in half and like, you know, he's totally. Like, there's like 5 versions of this frame that were stolen from, I don't know, the totally. Frames that came for it, which is cool. Yeah,
we were iterating on it one day, and Alec was like out of town or something. I was like, I guess I got to do this welding. So I get to dust off the welding hood and get under there a little bit. It was fun.
I mean, it looks good. Yeah, and it's cool to see too, like the hand welded, handmade one. Yeah, you know, in the jig. Totally. That's like our own custom jig that we made to, you know, put it together. Yep. And then you see like the production one, and it's like, man, that's it's cool. I mean, so many bikes, right? Like so many bikes are sort of like clones because most of them are built in the same factories in China, right? So it's like that's just the easy way to go, right? Like, that is the case, correct? Yeah.
I mean, obviously, a lot of the stuff that's out there, it's off the shelf components, and you know, very like if you want to start an e-bike company today, you can just kind of like go on Alibaba and look in a catalog and be like, I want that, but I want it in orange, and here's my logo for the side.
This frame, this battery.
Yeah, and you know, like somebody in China will put that stuff together for you, and you know, send it to you, and it'll probably work, like, but we're obviously using a whole different drivetrain that comes from the one wheel world. And then we're assembling them all in San Jose. So we're building a new line. That's like what we're doing now. Is building an additional manufacturing line at our San Jose factory to build these things on, and figuring out how to build these, because like they don't fit on a regular bike frame jig, or like the equipment that is typically used in a bicycle manufacturing line or a motorcycle manufacturing line. So we got to make all that stuff again, figure out how to, get it integrated and scaled up. So, and I like that part of the process too. And a lot of people around here do. I mean, the manufacturing side of our business is actually bigger than the rest of our business, right? In terms of the number of people who work there, and, square footage and all that stuff. So really figuring out how to, scale this thing and get it out. Because, people seem excited about it, right? We're getting a bunch of orders, so
people are really excited about it. Kind of going low key viral on the internet. And why wouldn't they? I mean, like every single person that we met with and rode with during the marketing process, like, oh, this thing's gonna freaking blow up, dude. This thing's gonna blow. It's like it's such a fun thing, and it's just so simple, and like. It's really like refreshing to.
I was always like neurotically texting you, like, did they like it?
Yeah, like
what do they think?
What do they like about it? I'm like, I don't know. They just like it. It looks cool and it's fun. Like, I don't know. It's sick.
I was like, Jackson.
I mean, Tucker Doss is like a longtime friend, and sort of like he'd probably not like me. He's a little bit of an influencer. And huge one wheel guy. He is one wheeled across France and from Seattle, like across country borders multiple times. We met up with him. He wouldn't get off the thing. B was like, this is my favorite thing you've ever made, including one wheels, which is a spicy hot take. And C was texting me at like 11:45 at night that day, being like, I can't stop thinking about it. Can you send me a photo of it? It's kind of weird. It is pretty fun though.
Totally.
Anyways, very exciting. So that's all over at anticbikes.com. They're shipping in January. But get one, get one now. There's some special launch pricing, $2,100 bucks, which is pretty compelling offer, I would say, on the base model. There's 3 models: base model, long range model, which it's $2,700, and then the long range plus, which is same range, but it has the performance treaded tire. I do think the performance treaded tire handles a little bit better, but I've been ripping around on the base model the last month and a half, and it's so much fun.
Just depends what you're gonna do with it. Yeah, totally.
It's so much fun. I would say this too: turns more like a motorcycle than a bike.
Yeah.
Right. So you're like not like handlebarring very much. Yeah. It's more leaning based, which like you can carve this bike.
Yeah.
Like Kevin and I were out late one night. It's the type of thing where you finish shooting for a whole day, you get back to your Airbnb at midnight, you're taking the bikes out of the van to put them back in the Airbnb, and you're like, maybe we should just take one lap. And then 1 hour and a half later, you're like, okay, we got to charge these and go to bed.
Totally.
But we were kind of getting our carving down, like accelerating into your turns, and woo, it's pretty fun. Anyways, let's move right along. So, I think one of the questions is like, okay, Future Motion releasing its second product, its second brand, really, like what does this mean for Onewheel? What does it mean for Future Motion? What
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just really exciting, to launch this, and basically, the improvements that we make, already, right? We've been working on the firmware a lot and stuff for the bike, and it's like, oh, this is good stuff that we can roll into like the next Onewheel firmware builds and stuff like that. We've got a number of things on that list already. So I think there's a lot of good synergies where, building this is going to help us, improve the Onewheel, line as well. And I think like if there's people like, oh, these guys are like moving away from one wheel and doing other stuff, it's like, no, we're definitely doing one wheel. That's the main core, right? And we're talking about the fact that we just refreshed the whole line, and as always, we've got other stuff in the hopper. But we're definitely like heavily invested in one wheel and making that like as good as it can possibly be for forever, right? We're already be 12 years in here pretty soon, and just continuing to build that out. But I think it's like, as you were saying, like I have always wanted to go beyond one wheel, but I've always kind of wondered, like, what is our team going to think about that? Like, they kind of signed up to work here to work on one wheel, and now we're doing something different.
Sure.
Everybody appears to be stoked.
Everybody's very stoked.
It's cool to dive in on something new and build more rad things. So
there are lots of fun ways to zoom around.
There are lots of fun ways to zoom around.
Zooming around in general is so much fun.
Yeah.
I will say this too. There was another evening after shooting. We were shooting up in Portland, Oregon for a little bit, and there was another evening where we all dumped the bikes back in the Airbnb, hopped on our wheels. Yep. This again was at like 1 a.m.
Yeah.
There's no one out on the streets, and we had like the most magical. If you've ever been on a night ride with your friends through a city on a one wheel, there is nothing like it in the world.
So good.
It is the best. It's the most fun. I mean, that's like what our take. Like the bikes are so much fun, but like a night ride in the city with your friends, I don't think you can beat it.
Yeah.
One wheels are always in forever. Just
totally
unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah, and of course, like the other side of it is like not everyone can one wheel. Like your girlfriend, boyfriend, kids, parents, whatever. They may not be the one wheel type, but I think Antic is a lot more approachable for folks, right? So they can come with you on the night ride. They can ride the bike and you can wheel, right? Totally. It was really cool. We had the little friends and family event the other day, which turned out awesome. And yeah, it's cool seeing like a bunch of wheels and a bunch of bikes and it just all felt right.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah, my mom she was like, it's too dark, I don't want to ride it, but like held on to me. I took her around, and like the other nice thing too with Antic is it has a learning mode, right? So it's like way torqued down essentially, and if it's a great way to introduce someone who's like maybe not comfortable, it's easy, it's approachable. Epic. Well, let's see. We are, a week away from Thanksgiving? What else happens in Thanksgiving usually every year? Turkey,
mashed potatoes.
And deep discounts on Future Motion products, potentially.
Some good discounts, yeah, for sure. Definitely coming up on the, we're not supposed to say what they are. So you got to just check out the website.
But it's widely known that every year there's one time in which, Future Motion products tend to be discounted to some degree.
Everything must go.
Right. So, and the whole one wheel line has been, revamped and refreshed, and
there will be some good deals. And there will be some deals that I had second thoughts that maybe they're too good. So
there you go. Well,
Thanksgiving Day.
Can you tell me which board you think has the best deal without saying what the deal is? Is that too much on the spot? What was the one that you were like, this is probably not smart? This is too much.
I think it's when you get to the more high end, where it's like this stuff just came out and it's really hot.
Right, sure.
And it's really expensive to build, but yeah, well,
that's fair.
We'll see you guys on the website.
That's fair.
And then, of course, like accessories, parts, lots of things. It's good time to just restock.
Yep.
People obviously fixing up boards over the winter season and stuff like that. You could do that. Obviously, we have a lot more stuff in that category than we had even a year ago. So
yeah, totally. And there's a few accessories available for Antic as well now, and I know we're working on more. If you have any accessory ideas for the bike, drop them in the comments section below here. I'm excited. There's a lot of
There's
possibilities.
no shortage of ideas.
with that thing. A lot of possibilities. Yeah, probably a shortage of time.
Yeah, there's definitely a shortage of time to get, we definitely have our hands full with, getting that bike into production and, out to people because people are clamoring, obviously.
If you want to see, I mean, we talked about the manufacturing side of this operation is like even more built out than the rest of the company. If you're interested in a little sneak peek at what some of that looks like, also hit the comment section. It would be exciting to show you what some of that looks like. It's pretty, I have reason to believe it's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
And it's something to be proud of, Like, I think it's like, that's the thing. Like, it is the hard way to do it. It is the best way to do it if you want like a high degree of quality assurance and control. And like, if something needs fixing, it's like 30 minutes away from right here where we sit, and like people go there and like build.
Yeah.
It's just really, it's really rad. We had the guys from Bum Motorsports over here, and they were like really wondering about how you take something that they could build, like a Bum style build,
101, yeah.
which is when they were looking at the first prototype from back in the day, they're like, this is a Bum build.
Yeah.
This is what we do.
Yeah.
But how do we go from that to like making a real product? That's kind of what they were like so interested in learning. And
totally.
And what we were talking about in the shop was that to take it from prototype 1 to final product is so much work, but then to take one final product and ship 10,000 to people in the world is almost more work.
Yeah, well, it's definitely more work. I mean, with the Antic launch, it's like half the company. The marketing side's like, great, we did it, we're done, we can take a break. And then, of course, the ops side is like, oh man, no holidays for us. We got to just like slam on this stuff. So
hopefully they had a fun summer.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, no, I mean, the domestic manufacturing side of it, obviously we have our own manufacturing facility over in San Jose, California.
Yeah.
Some people don't say nice things about California. What's up with those
people? It's really not that bad.
Anyway, they're just jealous. But we built it in California of all places, which has a reputation for not being the easiest place to run a manufacturing company. But it's a pretty awesome place to run a manufacturing company. Lots of talented people, lots of resources. We're like, why is it not here at our Santa Cruz headquarters? San Jose, which is only like 40 minutes away, has like world-class infrastructure in a way that Santa Cruz, being a sleepy beach town, like does not. Right? So like at our factory, the power never goes out. Here in Santa Cruz, like probably 10 times a year, you get like power cuts, and it's like, oh, when's it gonna come back on? We don't know. But like San Jose, we're like across the street from Meta's like #1 data center or something. So it's like, the power's never going out.
They're keeping that on.
There's
also just big old industrial buildings over there.
Big buildings, FedEx, UPS hubs, and then a lot of like suppliers, and you need your industrial compressor fixed like today. Like they got people over there.
Right.
Santa Cruz would be like, maybe next week,
Right.
So
no, everyone's doing stuff over there. You drive around, like it's like Star Tech Inc. And
so
like,
much crazy stuff happening. Like,
Yeah.
So people that say that stuff isn't manufactured in California or whatever, like it is.
Yeah.
The cool stuff,
And I mean, I did some digging, and like there's only a handful of e-bike companies that make their bikes in the USA. I mean, I know
Very
it's
few.
like you can get into the minutia about like where is each component built, but at the end of the day, like basically no one is assembling e-bikes.
Yeah, the bike in a box comes off a container from Asia for like 99% of bike brands.
Yeah.
Which is pretty crazy. I mean, there are some cool ones. There's a company making kids bikes in the US, like fully vertically integrated, I think, like making a lot of the components in-house and stuff too. That's awesome. Love to see that. But there's not a whole lot of others on the list. And, it's been like a rough time post-COVID for bike companies.
Right.
There were some doing cool carbon fiber frame, manufacturing in the States that like went out of business post-COVID, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So, it is hard to do domestic manufacturing just from a, cost standpoint, but, there are so many other benefits, especially if you're doing something that isn't cookie cutter, same as everybody else is doing.
Yeah, totally. Cool. Well, anyways, so I think that covered a lot of ground. If you got any other questions, drop them in the comment section below. I mean, obviously we'll have more videos coming out about the bike, as well as lots of more stuff that's fun and exciting on the Onewheel front too. Take a look at the website next week. You know, if you get the itch, or have someone in your family that wants like the most banger gift of all time. If you unwrapped a Onewheel, I mean, one of my favorite days of the year is like Christmas Day when you go on stories and we're tagged in a gazillion mentions and it's like kids and dads acting the same, unboxing Onewheels. So,
yeah, and I mean just to put in another plug for the XL. Like, I mean, we did demos at ORL. We decided it was like too hot to like race for the rail since it just came out like that week or something.
Yeah.
But seriously, try one. Like,
you got to. It's the power is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Which translates into like confidence too. Like not just like going fast, you know.
Yeah, and we kind of like don't actually talk about it that much on the website for it, but it's a bigger jump from S series to XL than it was from GT to S series. So if you've been on S series, you think like, oh wow, it's kind of the same as this. Like actually, no, it's it's like a lot more
exponential.
Yeah. So
I was able to go up hills that I could not even dream of going up.
And it's not just like going up the hill. It's like you can like zoom.
Zoom. And going down too. You can like actually enjoy yourself down steep terrain because you have so much power. Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks for watching. And go pop over to the Antic channels and give it a follow. Starting some channels from zeros, you know, slightly a heavy lift. It takes me back to 2013 when it was like, you know, my mom, my sister were following the first Onewheel followers. Kyle's
as long as they're liking and commenting.
So we'd appreciate that, and just say there's lots of fun and exciting things happening over here. So we're happy to have you around. Thanks for hanging.